What's up, gang? You know you had a good night of fights when there's only like 2 of us to come to the press conference, right? So the gate was 2.55 million. The attendance was 18,117. It was a complete sellout. We actually started selling standing room only tickets. It's the highest attended non-basketball event in the arena's history. Fight of the night, Whittaker Romero. The performance of the nights go to Oliveira and Blades. They all win $50,000, but in the fight of the night, Whittaker wins 100. So congratulations to Whittaker.
Let's talk about Robert Whittaker. I mean, he's a guy that's not necessarily the most popular champion on the roster right now. I know he's pretty new there, but can you just tell me kind of what you think about him? I mean, facing a guy Whittaker, yeah, facing a guy like Romero twice.
Popular in Australia.
Yeah, but I mean, can you just tell me what you think about him? I mean, here he is. He fights Romero for 10 rounds. The guy misses weight. It sounds like he took the fight with no issue. I mean, what's your opinion on Whittaker and kind of where his star value is?
Yeah, well, you keep fighting like you fought tonight. It's going to go up quick. The problem is Whittaker's had some issues. He had injuries. He had staph infection. Had to pull out of the big fight in Australia. He's obviously had some bad luck, but broke his hand in the 3rd round tonight. But he looked great. He's tough. He's durable. Tonight's fight was incredible. Yeah.
Romero obviously looked amazing as well in ways. He's a dangerous guy. But normally when a guy's 0-2 against a champ, probably not getting a 3rd fight anytime soon. And of course, he missed weight. So I wonder, I mean, will you actively encourage Yoel to maybe move up to 205 and see what he can do there?
Probably a good idea. We're going to have to talk to him and his team. And, yeah, it's probably a good idea to go to 205.
Cool. Let me ask you about Colby Covington as well, your newest champion. Man, you talk about guys that move the needle. He definitely does it, though not always in the most, positive ways. I wonder now that, he's a champion, what will you do with him? I mean, will you encourage him to maybe settle things down a little bit? Are you okay with the way he promotes and markets himself?
I don't encourage guys to do anything. You are who you are, and it is what it is. Unless you're throwing dollies through bus windows, I don't encourage, people not to do stuff. He is, let him do his thing. Yeah.
He said he wants to take that belt to the White House. Will you put in a call to your buddy Trump and try to make that happen?
He wants to take, yeah, I can make that happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And last thing for me, I mean, obviously you don't matchmake, but we know what the next fight is for him. It'll be Tyron Woodley. Tyron's already on Twitter saying, let's do this. Just curious, I mean, do you have any initial thoughts when that unification fight might take place?
No, but I have initial thoughts that it's good to hear he wants to fight. So good, yeah. We'll make a fight.
Dana.
Hey, buddy.
What did you think of Colby's performance tonight? He was an underdog when the week started, then he became the favorite by the end of the night. I mean, obviously he's a very polarizing character, but he ended up having a really strong performance tonight.
Yeah, he looked great tonight. He did a lot better than I expected him to do. I thought that he was very one-dimensional, with his wrestling. He looked good in the Maya fight against another guy who's, pretty much the same as him in a different way. And I always think of RDA as a very well-rounded, tough guy, and I thought he was going to give Colby Covington a lot of trouble. But Colby looked good tonight.
You've been very outspoken in your support of President Trump and probably taken some flack publicly for that. What do you think of Colby, speaking out so loudly about his support of President Trump and obviously kind of taking shots at the Golden State Warriors and some of the other teams for not visiting President Trump? Like, do you laugh at that? Do you think it's good that he's speaking out about that?
What did you say in the beginning of that I've supported Trump and I probably got some slack?
You probably got some slack.
I've never got slack about supporting Trump, ever. Nobody's ever given me any slack, ever. But no, I mean the guy. Listen, I don't care what your politics are. You can like whoever you want to like. If he likes Trump, then he likes Trump. If somebody doesn't like Trump, then they don't like Trump. I have a lot of friends that don't like Trump, but I don't ever talk to them about that. Snoop hates Trump badly, and Snoop and I never talk about that ever.
I know you don't. You always say you don't matchmake on the night of the fight, but what did you think of Holly Holm's performance? And would you like to see her stay at featherweight, or would you like to see her go back to 135?
She said she wants both. I love that answer. So she said she wants it all, and I like it. We'll see what we can do.
And last question. Obviously, CM Punk, suffered a tough loss tonight. I have to imagine that's it for him, but I mean, did you talk to him after the fight? And is that it for him as far as how many chances you're going to give him in the UFC?
Did he do any media after the fight? Huh?
He was transported.
Oh, he was? And everybody got transported tonight. Yeah. No, it should be a wrap, you know. The guy's 39 years old. I love the guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. We gave him 2 shots, you know, and he had a lot of heart tonight in this fight. And, yeah, I think you should call it a wrap.
Hi, Phil Thompson, Chicago Tribune.
Hi.
So following up on Punk, I guess you kind of answered the question. I wonder if you had a medical update on him.
I don't. I didn't know he was transported till she just said that.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you? You know how he is? No, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Hopefully he's okay. A lot of people got transported tonight.
No, absolutely. What do you think about the heart that he showed in the fight today?
No, he did, man. Listen, he got clipped a lot in that fight, and it looked like he was hurt bad a couple of times. He stayed in there. He went for 3 rounds, you know. Michael Jackson, I'm not happy with. This guy was acting like a goofball tonight. You get this opportunity to come in and fight CM Punk, and you're doing like bolo punches to the body on top. Never looked like he was trying to finish the fight ever, right? Looked like he could have finished the fight a few times. Never tried. I don't know what that guy did for a living before we gave him this shot, but whatever it was, he needs to go back and do that again. He's 0-2 as far as I'm concerned.
Well, to that point, it seemed like he was trying to milk it to stay on TV longer. Did you get that sense?
I got the sense that he's a complete fucking idiot, and I couldn't wait for that fight to end, and I regretted not putting it on Fight Pass.
Okay.
That's how I felt about it.
Okay. And with Blades, to the man's earlier point, I know you don't match make, but what are your thoughts about Blades' future?
He looked unbelievable, and obviously beating Alistair Overeem is a big deal. So, yeah, very impressive. And the way he beat Alistair Overeem is a big deal. So, stud. I didn't realize how big that guy was until him and Alistair squared off the other day. The guy's a monster.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dan, right here in the front. Right here.
Hey.
I know you've been asked this a lot this week, but we talked to a lot of the winners backstage, and almost all of them said they preferred the early morning weigh-ins.
Yeah.
And even during media day, a lot of the ones that didn't come out on top tonight said they preferred the earlier weigh-ins.
Yeah.
But you were pretty adamant that you spoke to a lot of fighters, and they wanted the afternoon weigh-ins.
Yeah, we talked to more fighters, and they want 4 o'clock weigh-ins.
So it's just a coincidence that all these fighters tonight only want early morning?
No, it's not a coincidence. I'm sure there's 550 fighters under contract, so there's a lot of asking to do before you get a number where you think that, the ratio is off.
Sure.
Tonight, I don't know if tonight was 5-5, 8-3 or whatever the number was, but yeah. Believe me, we've studied it. The numbers don't lie. We've talked to fighters. A ton of fighters want to go back to 4 o'clock, and there's a lot of fighters that don't. Eddie Alvarez, made a strong case to me on about basically, people who don't make weight are never going to make weight no matter what time you do the weigh-ins and stuff like that. But the numbers don't lie. The percentages are way off. And I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of fighters, and most of them are not morning people. They sleep all day, and they're usually up late at night. And this whole morning thing, they gotta cut weight that night. God knows how late they gotta stay up cutting weight, and then they go to bed and they can't sleep much. It just isn't working. So, no matter what, there's no debate about this. There's no debate. We're going to 4 o'clock.
And my last question is, you did talk about Mike Jackson. Is that it for his UFC career? Or
Yeah, that's it for his UFC career. Yeah, I wouldn't put that kid in the contender series.
Blades was saying he's next in line for the belt now. He thinks it's his time. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. Yeah, obviously you just beat Alistair Overeem very impressively, so we'll see what happens.
Can you compare him to maybe another heavyweight that really rose up the rankings that fast? I mean, beating Hunt, dominating Overeem tonight. Have you seen a heavyweight kind of start out like this or get to this place quickly?
No, probably not Francis, other than like Francis.
Thanks.
That I can remember.
Hello, Dana. What is your takeaway on Arlovsky and Tuivasa fight, and how did you score it yourself?
Andre Arlovsky looked good tonight. I mean, the kid he fought is a real tough, durable, hard-hitting guy, and much younger, obviously. And he looked good tonight. He took some big shots to the chin and kept coming forward.
And my other one, Ronda Rousey was announced today going into the Hall of Fame. Could you just comment on her
Who?
induction? Ronda Rousey?
Ronda Rousey? Oh, about her being inducted?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I love her. I'm happy for her. She's incredible, and it's well deserved.
Thank you.
Dana, right here up front. Just going back to the weigh-in thing for just a second. Holly Holm, when she was up here just a little bit ago, mentioned that she doesn't know why it has to be 9 a.m. or 4 p.m. Mentioned maybe doing something in the middle, like around noon. Is that an option?
Holly offered about doing the weigh-ins at noon time instead of 9 or 4, something in between.
Are we still talking about weigh-ins?
Yeah.
They're at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And going back, I want to know about Rashad Evans. Obviously, he had a devastating knockout loss. It has a great history in the company. Just what were your thoughts on his career and where he stands?
Yeah. When he lost, I had him come back to my room, and we hung out and talked, and it's sad. The guys, Rashad was on season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. So he was around through the whole, building of this company, we all get old, man, and this is a young man's sport, but he if you look at what he won The Ultimate Fighter, he became a world champion. He was with this team where he was like the guy and built all these young up and coming fighters. He's been in big, huge fights. He's been on the ride with us the whole way, and he got to close it out in his hometown of Chicago. So not a bad run,
Last one for me. Chris Weidman and Kelvin Gastelum were both in attendance tonight. What's next for them? Obviously, these two just had a Big Ten war tonight. What's next for those two guys?
Yeah, Weidman's still hurt. His hand is messed up, so he's going to be out for a while longer. And then who else did you ask me about?
Kelvin Gastelum.
Oh yeah, Kelvin. No comment on Kelvin Gastelum. He should have been the backup here tonight when this all went down, but
Was that offered to him?
no, he couldn't do it. He's got some personal issues that he seriously needs to take care of.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dana, over here. Do you mind just expanding on that? Was that the plan from the beginning of this fight being announced
Who?
with Kelvin?
Yeah. We wanted Kelvin to be the guy for a backup here. I'm not going to expand on it because it's personal.
Okay.
But it's some shit that he needs to get together and handle quick.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame, I've been meaning to ask you about this, just about the passing of Bruce Connell and what he meant for the company.
Yeah. It was so crazy when we heard that Bruce had passed away, and so young, was getting ready to take off to go to Australia, and this guy was here before me and the Fertittas. I mean, he was here before we were here, and he was great. He was a great producer. He was very well respected by everybody and loved by everybody here. So another Hall of Fame that's well deserved.
And just two other ones. Could you explain what happened with Yair in the end?
What happened with what?
Yair Rodriguez.
Yair? So, I mean, everybody knows what happened, why he was gone. So then, what is that?
Moving out all the equipment right now.
So I was, I'm deaf as it is, and now they got this going on. So, I don't remember where the hell I was. Yeah, no, where was I when this all, I had to go somewhere. I went out of town, and Sean called me and said, Yair had some real personal problems. I talked to him and everything else. Do you mind if I sit down and talk to him? about this stuff. And I said, no, I like Yair Rodriguez very much. So Sean met with him and talked to him, and then came back to me. And Yair and his team flew out and met with me. And he's back.
Pretty simple. And just one last one. Contender Series starts on Tuesday.
Has what?
Your Contender Series show starts on Tuesday.
I can't wait, man. I seriously can't wait. I could do that every Tuesday for the rest of my life. I love it.
And I'm just wondering about Greg Hardy, because
Yeah.
obviously he comes from the world of football and somewhat of a polarizing figure in the world of football, and he has, a checkered past, if you want to put it that way. What was the decision-making process to let him on the show?
Well, first of all, he went through everything, the whole legal process that he needed to go to. Went back to football, played for the Panthers, then got cut, then moved over to Dallas and played there for a while, then was cut from there. I guess he had a real bad drug and alcohol problem. Started getting into MMA, cleaned himself up. If you talk to anybody that he trains with, male or female, they say that, he's a very good guy. He's very humble. And, everybody deserves a second chance. And the guy was never charged with anything. He was never, sentenced or anything like that. So we're going to give him a shot.
Can I ask one more about Contender? I hadn't heard you speak about Nick Newell and the decision to finally give him a shot. Why did you decide ultimately to do that?
Well, Nick Newell came out and met with me too. And we met face to face. And, he told me how long he's been in the sport, who he trains with, what he's done, and he's like, and if you don't believe in me and you don't think I'm good enough, then at least let me try the Contender Series.
Yeah.
So I said, fair enough. And it's not, the thing is with Nick Newell, it's like, how many of you honestly think that Nick Newell could fight in the UFC? Most of you? Do most of you think? Right. So most people think the guy's talented and he's beat some real guys, he trains with real guys. The big thing is, if anything ever happened to Nick Newell, okay? If Nick Newell fights in the UFC, the first thing they're going to say is, how could you let a guy with one arm fight in the UFC? You're an idiot. Me. Not you guys, me. I'll be the idiot. Yeah. But I'm saying, what if something bad happened? The big question would be, why aren't you guys supposed to be the best? All the best fighters in the world are in the UFC. So you're going to throw a guy with one arm fighting guys with two arms? You know what I'm saying. You guys know how to be negative. You know what I mean? You know the negative stuff will happen when if something bad happened. Might even be some of you that read it.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to get your thoughts, please, on what might be next for Robert Whittaker and who might be in line to fight him next.
Robert Whittaker broke his hand in the third round. For a fact, his hand is broken. I just saw him back there, and his hand is swollen up like this. It's huge. His hand's definitely broken. And this kid can't catch a break, injured with his knee, staph infection. Now he broke his hand, and he's so talented, and he's so tough, and he's so good. And he's our first champion from Australia, which is incredible. He's just had a real run of bad luck. We're going to have to wait and see how long it's going to take him to get healthy before we talk about what's next.
Would that, a couple more, would that in any way influence whether or not you had another promotion in Australia later this year?
No. We love Australia. We'll be back to Australia with or without. If you look at the event that we did for the first time up there, Whittaker ended up falling out, and we made another main event with Rockhold and Yoel, and look how amazing the event did. The event was a huge success, and every time we go to Australia, the fans are incredible. The fights are always good for some reason, and it's just, that place is just an absolute home run for us.
You got any thoughts about which city or where, when it might be?
I don't hear off the top of my head, but I know I think we're going back this year, right? Yes. We'll be back this year. I don't know where yet, though.
And last one for me on the Australians. Could you give me your thoughts on the performances of Tai Tuivasa and Megan Anderson tonight, please?
Yeah, no, Ty looked great. He was in a war tonight. He was in a really tough fight, against a crafty veteran that did not want to get beat tonight. And those are the type of guys you have to fight when you're a young up-and-coming guy like him to get better and to get that experience under your belt. Who did you guys have winning that fight? I love how you guys ask me, but when I ask you, you don't give me the answers. I love it. I had Ty winning that fight. But yeah.
Minolovsky's ranked 9 now. Would he take his ranking, or is it not as simple as that?
Man, these rankings are very confusing. Who knows how this thing will end up? There's guys creeping up the rankings that haven't even fought. So who knows? We'll see how this. We'll see on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right here, Dana.
Hey, buddy.
The crowd here tonight was intense from the get-go. I mean, it was almost full by 5:30.
I know. Is that incredible?
A lot of hype surrounding the card, excluding the Chicago fighters in and of themselves. Your thoughts overall on Chicago, and can this city continue to, or would you like to see Chicago in these type of super card events?
Yeah, no, I love this town. This is a real sports town. I love the food in this town. The fans are incredible. Everything about Chicago is awesome, man. Yeah, tonight, I mean, I told you when I said it, it's the highest attended non-basketball event in the arena's history. So yeah, we love Chicago, and we'll be back to Chicago.
You had a special guest sitting next to you for most of the fight.
Oh man, I'm such a huge fan of his.
What was Theo's overall view on the UFC and the way the crowd was reacting to some of these fights?
For those that you don't know, Theo Epstein. So Theo Epstein is like a baseball god. This guy was over at the Red Sox, turned them into a winning team, then basically came to Chicago. They stole him from us. Chicago stole him from us. And he basically came out here with a blueprint and said, this is exactly how I'm going to do this, and we'll win the World Series in 2016 or some, whatever the number was. And he did it. He did it, man, in a city that hadn't won in 102 years or whatever the number is. And the guy's a genius. He's a stud. And I went to the Cubs on Friday and toured the facility and hung out with the manager and the players and all this stuff. What a cool organization. What a great group of people. And then today, Theo Epstein hit us up and asked for tickets and wanted to come. So, yeah, it was awesome. I'm a huge fan of that guy. So it was fun.
And last one for me, the way the heavyweights performed tonight was outstanding. Your overall view on the heavyweight division, and given some of the performances tonight, it could make for some interesting matchmaking.
No, you're right. And you a lot of times the heavyweight division can be the stinker division. You know what I mean? They were on fire tonight. Every one of the heavyweight fights was awesome. And yes, I agree with you. It's getting interesting now. There's a lot of new young guys coming up in the heavyweight division, and that's fun.
Hey, Danny, just one brief follow-up from me. You said when you met with Rashad, you talked about that, and then you said, hey, he got to wrap it up here in Chicago. Did he indicate to you that this is it for him?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Again, I don't want to stomp on his, if he was going to retire or whatever, I don't want to steal the thunder from him. But yeah, I think that, and obviously after a fight like that, he's super emotional too. So, yeah. I hope he does.
Hey, Dana, did you have any issues with the commission yesterday and how they handled Romero's weigh-in?
What did he say, babe?
Did you have any issues how they handled the weigh-in yesterday, the commission?
Yeah. Yeah, that happened. So apparently that happened. I wasn't here, but apparently they gave him 2 hours to cut weight. And his guy... who helps them cut weight. So let's take 40 minutes here. They sat down, they chilled out for 40 minutes, and then they said, we'll get you back in the bathtub. And like right when they just started to cut the weight again, the commission came bustling in the room and said, you got to go. And got to weigh in now. So obviously we're looking into that, and we're trying to figure out what happened. And yeah, that is true.
Mr. Dana, it seems like you're going to have a UFC fight in Moscow in September, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your expectation or thoughts about that?
Well, we put the thing on sale, and ticket sales are awesome so far. So far, so good. Obviously, this is our first time going in there, so we're going to get in there, check it out, and see how the event goes, and then figure out what our long-term strategy for Russia is.
Do you know who will be the headliner of the show?
The headliner, the main event.
Yeah. We have it. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. These guys probably all know.
It's any chances to see McGregor and Nurmagomedov in Moscow in this show?
Will that one be in Moscow?
Yeah, Conor.
No, that will not be in Moscow.
And my last question is, what's next for Khabib?
Conor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dana, tonight the card was under the new rules, and in the Whittaker-Romero fight, if round 5 wasn't a 10-8, what exactly constitutes a 10-8 round?
Say that again. If what?
If round 5 wasn't a 10-8 round, then what exactly constitutes a 10-8 round?
I don't. I didn't score it a 10-8 round.
You
Did anybody in here score a 10-8 round? Did anybody give it a 10-8? Yeah. You? No. So a couple did, and would you have it? 10-9. Yeah.
And then to follow up on Nick Newell, have you ever had such a big risk-reward kind of fighter? If he wins, it's great publicity. If he loses, you're going to get killed, basically.
What do you mean? Which fight?
With Nick Newell, like if he gets knocked out, people are going to point out, he doesn't have a hand to defend himself, basically.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We got a guy already. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for making my point. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, listen, they were very smart in flying out and meeting with me face to face. This kid's been working his whole life, training, and he's telling me that he can. This kid fought Justin Gaethje and went 2 rounds with Justin Gaethje when Justin Gaethje was on fire. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to do it. You'll probably be the first guy writing the negative story if anything goes wrong.
But does the reward outweigh the risk? I mean, if he wins, it's such a great story, overcoming the disability.
To be honest with you, I'm not doing this for me or for the organization or anything. I'm doing it for this kid. This kid came in and begged. This is his dream. This is what he lives for. This is what this guy has worked his whole life to do. He wants it so bad. And I'm sitting there going, this is crazy, man, but I'm going to do it. This is crazy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you your chance.
Dana, the only fight that we really haven't talked about is Claudia Gadelha and Carlos Esparza. Great fight.
Great
a little
fight.
bit controversial. What were your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, Carlos Esparza came out and shocked a lot of people tonight because Claudia Gadelha is a beast, and she looked great tonight. She looked awesome. We good? All right. Thank you, guys.